Hello. I'm going to do a card pull. The energy has just been profoundly intense. I'm sure people can feel it. There's tons and tons of chaos ensuing in a lot of people's lives right now and in the collective. It's really important to just stay present and try to take it one moment at a time and not use the power of your imagination to project negativity, and stay very locked into the idea that you can expect and create something out of the emotions that you feel regardless of the situation. It's like from a stasis, you can spiral down or you can spiral up. It's a choice, and we're always doing one or the other. People have a hard time being truly neutral, and especially at times like these. I recorded, oops, my cat stepped on the, I don't have my normal setup right now, so yeah, whatever. I did a reading, but I would like to transcribe it and make it into a post for my website instead. So I'll be posting that later this evening. I need to go through and transcribe it, but it's an important message. It's the kind that comes out when I'm just talking and not pulling cards. So that'll be on the community page, but the main thing that I want to talk about this evening is just what the eclipse marks in terms of, like I see it as like a little springboard, and there's some pretty big things ramping up here. And something popped into my head when I was driving home this evening, which is the phrase, ignorance is bliss. And I don't think that that is the case right now. I think that people who are truly ignorant to certain things that are true are starting to suffer more and more, because we are trying to collectively come to an understanding of a lot. And then the psionic capacity of, I believe, most, like the psychic abilities of a lot of people are increasing. I know this because I've been honing my psychic abilities for 12 years at this point, and there's a huge expansion happening. I'm personally experiencing changes to my vision with being able to see different things within the energy around people and in the space. There's basically no buffer between asking for guidance and receiving answers. I'm connecting a lot more with my star family. I'm going to talk about that a little more and unpack that, because I've learned a lot since I had my quantum healing hypnotherapy regression session. But I've been going through a passage of personal integration with all of it before I feel like I can speak on it in a way that's helpful to other people. I'm guided to get angel answer oracles first this evening, and then I'm going to do like a current energy to embrace, energy to release. I'm just going to pull two, okay? So you can have one question. This is for you, the viewer. Please ask a question. Or two. I'll pull two cards. You can pick one or two ahead of time, or you can use both cards to answer your single question. Like the first one as your first answer, the second one could be a clarifier. You can use this as you want. I'm going to pull two and say them. So here we go with one. Answer says wait. Mercury still is in retrograde, and I can't even tell you, it's just unreal the amount of like little snafus and things. It's like a Murphy's Law is lawing type of thing. We need to remind ourselves that whenever there's something that is something of like a dead end, or it's not working, to force is not the right way. You have to continue to find a way to move that energy in a state of flow. And sometimes that is pivoting, going in a different direction. And if there's something that felt like it was supposed to happen, the universe is letting you know that it's actually within divine timing for it to happen at a later time. Second answer is yes. Okay? Don't have to elaborate on that. All right. So funny. I'm gonna roll with it. I have so many messages, but I'm under just, oh, it's the Empress on the bottom. For me and how my life gets, I know it's intense out there because I stay pretty even keel. I'm very good at mindfulness and self-regulation, and I have so many different self-created tools that are very integrative in nature. You know what I mean? They're all about all different kinds of the therapies that I had to go through in my younger years, but also the things that I've invented and added on to those modalities to braid them into the techniques that I have learned from healers and people that I've worked with, but also what my spirit guides have told me. I have ways, right? But this energy, I'm incredibly stressed and like under a lot of pressure, and I'm feeling it. It's very intense. And yet, in the timeless way that exists outside of this reality, all is well. If anybody ever needs tips for mindfulness and regulating stress, please reach out to me. I have many. And the more specific you get, the more specific I can get. If you would like to do that for an extended period of time, then book a session with me. They're very affordable and they're listed under the services page on my website. I cannot tell you how profoundly powerful that is. Like I am a very high vibrational person, and I felt today like I went to an outside venue to sit and get some things done. And there was nobody around. I sat down, I was working, I was like, some peace and quiet. Just a matter of minutes, the whole area fills up and there's people all around me. I was like, okay, so I relocated and it happened again. And I'm not saying that people did that intentionally, but people do gravitate. There's an unconscious thing happening for people who intentionally carry an anchor in light on a daily basis. If you don't have a practice of regularly clearing your energy, it's very important right now to imagine just like a curtain of white light. You know those like striped old-fashioned dressing rooms on the beach, 4 panels? Just bring all 4 down before you leave the house in the morning or in the middle of the day if you're like exiting an event or like a space with other people. It's going to help you stay in a place of doing what you need to do. One of my affirmations recently has been about like, I will do what it is I need to do when it needs to be done. I trust that my brain, my intuition, my spirit guides will let me know what needs to be done when it needs to be done. And so that I am free to focus on what it is that is in front of me with my full attention, my full ability and effort. And then the next thing will come up when it's time. And it turns out the next thing keeps coming up like half a second later, and there's very little time to stop and slow down. And when that's the case, we just have to, again, find that thing to connect to. For me, it's like breathing and breath. It's so many things. Okay, one more shuffle. They're almost ready. It's also a really good time to connect with your priorities and what it is you truly, truly care about. A lot of people are in seriously problematic situations for whatever reason, but they're not seeing how much they are spending time, energy, money, attention, whatever it is, on that does not matter, that does not add to their life, perhaps is actively working against them and making them, more distracted or less well or something. What do you care about? What do you spend time on? Why is that what you spend time on? So it's a good time to study all of that. Since the beginning of 2023, I've just been thinking about that, going through a huge period of like if I care about something, I will not give up on it, and it's part of my life. It takes waves of levels, because once if you have, I feel like it's just within the human mind to like, if we notice things about ourselves, whether it's ways of being or acting or things that we do regularly that we didn't like previously understand was like an option, or even like people pleasing, right, is very, very, very common. And there's some jokes on the internet within the retired people pleasers community around like, I said no, it was very simple. I did it in a very kind way and it felt like the meanest thing ever, right? If it's foreign, then you don't but there's nothing wrong with that. There's other, when we release practices, we have to pull in new practices. And a lot of the times people do not do change because they don't understand how that could go, right? They don't even think that there's another thing to pull in, or if somebody tries to quit something or stop doing something and they don't, we're kind of complete and whole and spinning. Our energy is very, very active. Our chakras are literally spinning vortices. And everything is so highly activated right now that a lot of stuff, again, like things with the eclipsed out of your life. What was previously hidden to you? What is now revealed to you? There should be, if not, it's coming soon. There should be a serious amount of clarity about what it is that we actually care about. And I have another sense that within this, for a lot of people, they're not going to be able to get to that. Like, it will feel like it's on the other side of something. That's all fine. When we think that something's wrong with how we've lived our lives or where we are now, you are basically manifesting from a place, you're manifesting like not right, not good enough. Because the present moment's all we have. Everything you manifest comes from the present moment. How do you feel right now? Even if everything is awful, if you can take some deep breaths. Again, I have a dialectical behavioral therapy tool in this tattoo. Just little scissors, And I always see the torrent of my thoughts as like rainbow ribbons. They just come in, snip, snip, snip. Like every little moment that you can employ some mindfulness to come back to that space, then you're continuing to, even if you dip a little bit, right, to track higher and continue to create and expand your world and continue to manifest what it is that you want. And if you think about your timeline, going back to musical analogies with harmonies, but like chords really, or I just think about the way that like the ukulele or the guitar strings look, right? These different bands and these vibratory levels. If you're on a certain timeline and you want to be on a higher one, yet you're in a negative place here saying like, I don't like my life. I want to be up there. I want things to be like this. If you don't, you can't get there via negativity. That will only allow you to stay there or go lower. That's physics, okay? If you get it, you get it. I could explain it. I don't have time. I will eventually. I have before. I will again. And so no matter how wrong things are, acceptance is what unlocks the ability to go to a place that's going to transform that situation because it's vibrational. So this is interesting. I cut the deck and I didn't put them back together, but what I'm hearing is that this is current energy, this is energy to embrace, and this is energy to release. And then the cards that are going to clarify each position is the card that's right underneath each one. So let's see what it is. Sounds about right. Energy to embrace is the 9 of Cups. We love this. What did I just say? 7 of Cups is all about overwhelm, decisions, like totally me today. There's a lot going on. But the energy to embrace is the 9 of Cups. And that makes, 7 to 9, it's an increase, it's an ascension, but it's turning into, the positive, the emotionally fulfilled, stable, happy vision. And it's not just the vision, because a lot of people accidentally manifest from like an ego-defined place. One of my favorite quotes is when your passion, your vision, and your dream for the collective matches the dream that you have for yourself, when what you are truly trying to pull in for yourself is going to benefit all beings in the universe, then it will happen for you. And you don't have to think so altruistically, because honestly, people don't have to be, not everybody has an altruistic path. You can be a person who lives alone in the mountains and farms rice paddies, but you're contributing to the collective whole via your vibration of peace. And a lot of us are very concerned with how other people perceive our paths and all of that. And it's really just about knowing that there's got to be something that you can accept and embrace that is good, and the gateway to allowing this to be what it is. You are not alone. Absolutely everybody is feeling this massive collective overwhelm. Lots of people are like not thinking, you know, so much about the eclipse. Some people do not, like, ow, I need to adjust my knee. That wasn't a good way to let it sit for a minute, but. Oh, I think I talked about this on my transcription. This will be on the blog post that I put up later this evening, but. Hi, it's Mariah from the future. That silly version back there doesn't know that I'm not gonna do that. So I just wanted to say that the blog post isn't gonna go up for like probably a couple days. Okay, bye. There's gonna be a part of my practice in the future. I don't know if this is like 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, but it's all about like quantum healing for the body. Because I've been doing all these trials on my knees and it's been massively successful. I'm getting in great shape. My knee issues are going away. I'm gonna write a science journal one day. But this is also a time where the physical body could either experience expansion and like talk to your body and think of your body as healing and accepting, changing rapidly, but in a good way, right? I think about people who have one symptom, Google it, and it's like all these things, and then they go to this place, and then the nocebo, you know, you create conditions of unrest with your expectation and all that. And that's not always the case, blah, 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 but, you know, you get where I'm going with that. So listen to the sensations. Don't make mountains out of molehills. And remember that in order to handle or exit overwhelming situations, you do have to sort of calm down or at least allow yourself to try to exit in an upward direction. What's the energy to release? Couldn't make it more clear if I tried, right? This is 2 steps down. We've got 7, 9, 5. These are odd numbers. Dunk, dunk, dunk. That's funny. I just saw a little cartoon guy sitting in between these 2 bells and he's like hitting his head off of them going like ding dong. And that makes me think about the quantum pancake. Like, which way is it going to go? That energy has phased out. Humanity successfully committed to, well, I don't want to go into all that. Very, very interesting things that took place on the eclipse, similar to certain things that took place in 2012. I cannot overstate how important it is to, like I said before, ignorance is bliss. That's not true. Ignorance around certain things will become increased suffering. That's not funny. It's true, in my opinion. Not to incite fear, but like in a trying to educate way, just because of how easy it is to protect yourself, right? But if you don't believe in it, then you're not going to do it, right? I just, getting back to this, the odd numbers, this odd sequencing, energy to embrace is the 9 of Cups positive. If you're in a negative place, you'll go more negatively. Now, what's clarifying the 7 of Cups in the current energy? It's the 4 of Swords. Yeah, I like that. And I really like that I decided to use this deck because she gives me like Joan of Arc vibes. And I like that she's also suited up, right? Because it's sort of a beautiful display of like a balancing of masculine and feminine energies, and that it's clearly a woman. She's a fighter. And it's a peaceful card, right? But we always see the 4 of Swords pretty much regardless of what deck you use, any deck. It's gonna have the Knight regardless of gender, because it's something about like in between battles, right? Or the purpose of a knight, or like the journey. So that card in the beginning, the Weight from the Angel Answer Oracle, it's sort of like, even within this overwhelm, like sit tight, like truly, things are changing. They've never been changing more quickly. Things have never changed so quickly. Things are changing rapidly. So the more we do to fluffle that, but like the boat's already rocking, right? So sit tight. Don't be inactive, right? That's not what I mean. Not inactivity, but this is like a faithful energy where things come through. It's a necessary energy. It's almost like you can't hear the voice of the intuition until you get into this energy. This is what is going to help. I almost see it as like the bridge to these two, right? Overwhelm, meditate, happy. Not quite, right? Not quite. Something like that, but I do have a card ready here for clarifying the Nine of Cups and the energy to embrace? It's the Queen of Cups. What's clarifying the Five of Cups and the energy to release? The Emperor. That's very interesting. Okay, so yeah. Again, love is a fuel. Love is a fuel. Affirmations. Did I end up saying this? An affirmation that I've been, yeah, I did share that. Like just trusting. Humans can only focus on so much, you know? Trusting that you will remember and be guided and do and see what it is you need to see at the right time. But another affirmation that I've been repeating a lot lately is like, especially if I'm frustrated, let me see this through the eyes of love. Show me the situation through the eyes of love. That's what I'm getting off of this. See yourself that way, see other people that way. To be honest, the people that we encounter where it's like, I don't get it, I don't get you, blah, blah, blah. That's just how damaged they are. You might not get it. You do not know what has happened to that person. They might not even know what has happened to that person. A lot of people have glaring gaps in their memories for a number of reasons. But again, I said this the other day. It's like, you know, we have to see this. It's only going to feel worse. Now, of course, there are people that like you get red flags from energetically and you shouldn't just interact with everybody. But as far as like the dynamics within people in our lives and all of that, extending grace, trying to remain compassionate, that's always the best way. It's not us. You're right. It's not like an ulterior motive thing. It's the best thing for them. It's the best thing for you. It's free. It's a little bit hard to do when our egos are involved or we see it as an us versus them, but we have to be able to transcend that and give ourselves like, you know, this safe place. The Emperor in the release position, it's like the Emperor can indicate like, you know, maybe inflexibility or like a little bit of that stubborn, like there are always shadow sides to things. And in the tarot, it's the Strength card where the Empress is sitting with the Emperor's ego that's resembled by a lion and taming it, because there's a purpose to having masculine and feminine energies in humans, right? And on Earth. And they function for each other. And the way that there's been this, you know, this unhealed patriarchal model and like a lot of distortion around healthfully expressed masculinity, that has not created a safe space for women to be safe being healed. There's a long-standing history of the healed, powerful woman being oppressed intentionally. And what we're releasing is an old model of masculine energy. I did ask Serapis Bay to help me do this reading, and I continue to be absolutely dumbfounded by some of like the things that are coming through for me, but I really do believe that a lot of the stuff that I'm going through right now, I'll be able to speak on a little bit in the future. I'm just still integrating. I'm always like a little bit staggered with what I am personally going through and what I feel confident commenting on, you know? What's the hidden energy from the bottom of this middle pile? The Ace of Wands. That takes me back to the wait, right? Because right after wait came yes. That's like this. Wait. Yes. Hang on. It's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. And again, if you're struggling with this overwhelm or some of the changes and the chaos that's ensuing right now, try to see things through the eyes of love. And again, connect to what you care about. Because seeing through the eyes of love, again, you don't have to, for me, seeing through the eyes of love is very connected to justice. We all gravitate towards different things. Who and what do you care about? You know, and let that lead you to the transformations that you're trying to have. Sit with yourself if it's not clear. There is a way right now to have all of your priorities feel like they're being held with you. You can hold them. Because I saw somebody trying to wrap their arms around a cornucopia. But it's almost like there's some shit in the cornucopia that doesn't belong there. We're not going to be able to hold all of it unless we can truly kind of take a look at it, right? There's something around the human ego and this like thing. It's a blind spot. It's gonna resonate and manifest differently for different people's lives right now. But let's get the incoming energy, and I'm being asked to shuffle it out. So again, this wasn't incoming, this was hidden. But this reading, like, I just couldn't be more. I love it when the cards are so accurate that I don't really have to pull many. Excuse me. This planet, our planet is actually receiving a ton of attention. There are many other, humanoid-like planets in these galaxies. It's a fractal, There's a lot out there. Potentially infinite amounts of worlds and whatnot. And this one happens to be one that is informing what is happening in a lot of other realities. So just like big stuff. Big stuff. Okay, here so okay, what's the incoming energy? Ace of Swords, Page of Wands, and Ten of Pentacles. Yeah, it's like there will be a time to move when there's more stability, and then cut the deck. There's one right here. The World, right. And then the Hanged Man's underneath that. But the World, going two ways, right? The world kind of like opening up again, the world transforming, and I'm also seeing, what are those called? Well, it's shaped like an hourglass, but it's one of those things with the sticks. It's like a yard game that people play. It's like that shape. I don't know what it's called. Okay, all right. They've given me a different vision, so that's easier to describe. Okay, remember those little rubber, like, poppers where you could, like, invert it and then set it down and it would be like, and it would jump? It's like the world's, like, turning inside out right now. And it doesn't feel good, right? And this is the beginning of this. This isn't gonna go away. Like I said that a few weeks ago, like we would love it if things would slow down, and they're only speeding up. But I'm feeling like in the next, like, this will be a week and a half for some, 2 weeks for some people, 3 weeks for others. There's going to be this moment that opens up in the next. I'm up here. You know I'm up here, you silly. She wants attention. I got you, Fluffy. It's going to be this thing that happens where we feel like we have, if you're on a, if you're rock climbing, I used to rock climb a lot. I haven't gone in a minute, but if you're rock climbing, sometimes you're stuck for a little while. You're just like hanging out, whether it be like actually out on a side of a cliff or something, or if you're in a rock gym, sometimes you don't know what the next move is, right? That's that waiting energy. And you're just like, do I have to like go down a little bit to go that way? Can I move a foot? Can you not, kitty? Can you not? Hi, it's Mariah from the future again. I just thought it was so funny. Well, I'm editing this video now, so I have the opportunity to do this. I just thought I'd comment on it because it was so synchronistic. I didn't notice in the moment, and I blame the cat. But the synchronicity is that I mean, you probably noticed if you're a viewer and have observational skills, but I just thought I'd clarify to highlight the importance of how synchronistic this message is. This was a very good reading. I'm glad I edited though, because I took out a bunch of stuff that needed to come out. I am proud of myself for taking the time to edit a video because I haven't given it the time in a minute, and I truly think I drive people away by including so much unnecessary stuff, but this one had to be taken down, and I get to insert the stuff. If you didn't, please go take the time to read the Joan of Arc thing, because that's really important to this message. And because I didn't complete the thought, I think I will say the camera slides, and I'm talking about, you know, adjusting to be able to move forward again and see the way forward. Okay. Damn it, kitty. Okay, we're gonna work with it. It's like, depending on your timeline and how, whatever, I don't know. The intervals I got was 1.5 weeks, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, whatever. There's going to be a foothold, and you don't actually have to go anywhere. You're just gonna realize it. You're gonna be like, oh my gosh, perfect. My foot goes right there, and you get a big boost. So we like that. That is incoming. It's going to become available as our world, individually, micro to macro, but the world continues to shake and shift. And we know that big things are happening because, well, I think I said this a couple videos ago, but like massive changes in weather and stuff, you know, that's big energy moving. And then the eclipse and like the sun's spitting off these solar flares, lots of stuff, plasma, all of it is very, very activating to the human body. Okay, so I was sitting in meditation last night getting some answers about some things. And I asked specifically about what was happening in the skies. There's a lot of very interesting things being captured on video from all over the world. Now, before anybody's like, oh, it's fake, I don't believe that. Not all of it is. I'll drop in a clip here. This video was sent to me by my friend who lives in Arizona. It's not fake news on the internet, okay? These things though, you know, we're at a point where I believe that the whole fake news thing that got all stirred up a few years ago, that was meant to completely invalidate any content. Because now if anybody doesn't like something, they're like, well, that's probably not real. Because it's gotten so blurry. So I was asking about the skies and basically like different timelines and what is happening. For my own protection and safety, and I know that might sound like cheesy or like a little bit dramatic to some, but it's actually incredibly important. There's just certain things that I would do well not to say. There's a lot of forces in the world that don't want people to be able to access information that can help them heal. And they're very aware of everybody who's trying to help. But the information that I got was that, we'll see if this comes to pass, right? Prophetic stuff is very like hit or miss with probabilities and stuff, but I will say it just to put it out there in case something happens. South America by the end of April, some type of thing there. I don't know if it has to do with the weather or the skies, but I have ideas about it and I don't really want to go into it, but I'm just putting that out there. And there was a few other things that yeah, we're going to wait on that. What's the biggest sticking point? For most people who will watch this video, what's the biggest sticking point in the energy right now for progress, progression, further fulfillment? What I just heard is Queen of Wands. That makes sense with what I just heard. Every perceived sticking point, like, it kind of just is what it is. That radical acceptance It's hard for me to do right now. I can admit that, but it doesn't mean you can't do it. You either can or you can't, really. And sometimes we're more challenged to do it, but it doesn't mean it's not important. It doesn't mean it's not the way, right? It's a contentedness. She's got her cat. I've got mine. Confidence and just like being able to sit down in the knowing that things will resolve. You are not alone. There's also a deep call for people who have never done this and it's, you can take this or leave this with anything I say, always, right? Obviously. And it doesn't have to do with a specific faith, more so just the connection and the understanding of what it means to be a multidimensional being, but like calling upon protectors. Everybody has ancestors, right? You actually have thousands and thousands of ancestors. How could you not? You haven't met most of them. That doesn't mean they don't love you. That doesn't mean you're not the living embodiment. You're the only one, potentially. There might be others, right? Of course there are others, but like there are guides who witness you and see you and support you, and they're deeply invested in you and your life because theirs is over. And humanity is a collective, and we're all kind of working on the same thing. This is why Baba Dam Ras said, we're all walking each other home. And when people think they're alone, as we're often led to believe in this world, then they lose hope. When we don't have hope, we're kind of like, I guess we'll just kind of sit around and do whatever. And guess what? There's a lot of stuff to pick up and entertain ourselves with, and then we just completely shut ourselves down and as humans, right? Biggest sticking point is seeing past the illusion. I said this as well a couple of weeks ago, like the distractions is just all going to kick up, right? You can connect with the truth even now, and we must. So that's what I have this evening. I hope that is helpful for somebody who might need to hear it.